Man is out in the yard every day. 800 upside-down hooks, 1,000 push-ups to make these legs indestructible. His teacher also gave him a pair of iron shoes, despite the fact that these shoes weigh hundreds of pounds. But the man wore them for 10 years and never took them off. He wears them every day to train under high strain. Today, he is used to the weight of these shoes. He can even chase cars in these shoes as fast as he can. One day Wulin was practicing martial arts on the street. Suddenly he found a group of killers chasing a rich businessman. They trampled on the ice cream of a young boy on the roadside. When he saw this, he decided to help out. The rich businessman wanted to repay him for saving his life. He immediately offered 20,000 yuan as a token of his gratitude. But he turned around and left, because as a martial arts practitioner, he had long regarded money as dirt. Then several cars surrounded him. Then a black boss came out of the car. It was only when he took off his sunglasses that he realized he was his long-lost brother. He then took him to see his bodyguard company. Seeing that his brother had made martial arts culture bigger and stronger, Wulin felt a little relief in his heart. Soon a client came to his company to choose a bodyguard. This man happened to be the rich businessman who had been chased that morning. As the rich merchant's daughter was very playful, there were often bad people who would get on her bad side, so he wanted to find someone to protect her. But the rich businessman went round and round. He couldn't find anyone he liked, but he found the only one he could find. One morning he was at the girl's house practicing his kung fu. The girl, who had just finished her bath, was unaware of it. She was shocked. The girl took out her gun and threatened him to leave the house, until Wulin said her father had hired him to protect her 24 hours a day. Only then did the girl gradually relax. The girl then took Wulin to a fancy restaurant for dinner, but as the waitress approached her, Wulin pinned her to the table. The waitress was on her first day of work. She was pushed to the table by the bouncer, because he noticed that the wine served said 1980. No doubt the wine must have expired. Just as the girl looked disgusted with him, Wulin picked her up and walked out of the restaurant. But as soon as he got out, he was blocked by a group of killers. He saw that the girl had been tied up in a car by the killers. He then tried desperately to catch up with the car that was speeding away, although the car was going fast. But Wulin was no slouch either. He was wearing hundreds of pounds of iron shoes. He was still able to walk as fast as he could. He soon appeared at the next intersection. The kidnappers tried to kill him by stepping on the gas, but Wulin didn't panic at all. Instead, he started sprinting straight towards the car. Then with a dive and a sidekick, he got into the car. Even the trunk of the car was dismantled by Wulin. After realizing that this bodyguard was no ordinary person, the killers gave way and stopped the kidnapping. After this incident, the girl began to be impressed by Wulin. She even grew to like him, although the danger was temporarily removed. But soon Wulin found out that the killers were arranged by his brother. The purpose was to kidnap the girl, to extort money from his rich businessman father. Wulin thinks this is unconscionable. He persuades his brother not to do such a dangerous thing again. But his brother had gone mad and severed his relationship with him. For the sake of the girl's life, they went to a remote beach to hide from the chase. But he didn't know that his brother had found them in the middle of the night. Not only did he take the girl, he even set up a trap to keep him tied up. He finally pushed him into a pit and buried him alive. But under the heavy rain, Wulin crawled out of the mud. At this moment he no longer chose to hold back. He picked up a hammer and removed his iron shoes, which he had worn for 10 years. Shoes on this man's feet weigh 100 pounds. He wore them for 10 years and never took them off. But just then he picked up a hammer and removed them, because at that moment all he wanted was revenge. He then went to his brother's bodyguard company to rescue the girl. Little did he know that his brother's 800 men had been waiting for him for a long time, even though there were many of them. But Wulin didn't panic at all, because whoever was in the front would get the worst beating. Looking at his companions who had fallen to the ground, they immediately took out their shields to defend themselves. In just 3 minutes, all 800 of his men were seriously injured. But when he arrived at the office to rescue the girl, he was stumped, because he found out that the boss behind the kidnapping of the girl was actually his own father. Wulin's anger was instantly ignited. But at that moment, his father's men suddenly opened fire. But at that moment, brother blocked the bullet with his iron fist. He did this for no other reason than to find out whether Wulin's iron legs or his own iron fists were stronger. Wulin had no choice but to break his brother's leg with his iron leg. Seeing that he had no more value, his father's men immediately shot him through the heart. Wulin's heart was filled with grief. Then he walked angrily towards his father. But he didn't go down hard enough, because he didn't want to become like his father. At the end of the story, Wulin took his brother with him, back to the place where they trained together. This film tells us that everyone has a destiny. We will never know what our destiny is. It's more important to live in the present than anything else.